This is Michael Meshaw, and I want to introduce him to you guys. Michael I've known for a long time, probably since he was a baby in some way. His dad used to be my coach in high school at Wilmington Christian Academy, but Michael has been a missionary. He's been all over the world, and now he's in real estate. But what we're talking about today, I wanted to introduce him to you because he's got a story that we want to briefly tell you about perseverance and being a real estate agent and what it takes to make it in this world where you have to persevere, serve for a long time. So Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, Mike, how long have you been with us now here on our team?
I started in August of 2023.
Okay, August of 2023.
About the first week there, yeah.
All right, I just got back from a trip at a follow-up boss conference, and the whole conversation was, hey, you got to stay on the phone, you got to communicate, you got to serve, and they were like average days that it takes a buyer before they talk, ready to do something's 200 days.
Right.
Well, you just told me this morning, tell me the story you just told me. Don't use anybody's names, but tell me the story you just told me.
There was this couple that I've been trying to reach out to since I first started, like the first week in August of 2023. And I didn't really like making phone calls at first. I kind of sat there and stared at the computer for the first week or two, just not wanting to do it. Not really, but I would make some calls, but not many. And so I'd call this one couple, and I always was kind of excited if they didn't answer the phone because then I didn't have to get a no or get somebody mad. But then I grew past that. But this one couple, I just kept calling and calling and calling. Sent a note card, would send emails, nothing. They wouldn't answer the phone. I got the husband one time, and he said his wife makes all the decisions and deferred to her. I figured that was just an easy way to get off the phone, but that was okay. So just slow drip. And I don't know why I just kept calling this couple. But they were just kind of somebody I would be, I wonder how they're doing this week. And I'd give them a call, and still nothing. And probably about 8 months ago, so this has been, a year and a half.
Well, now, we checked the system.
Well,
now this is going to be funny.
Yeah.
Now you have been. Didn't you say it was like your first call you ever made?
One of them, yes.
One of the very first calls you ever made.
Yes.
And we checked the system, and we had since moved from one website CRM to another. And our import, we looked back at the old notes. These people came into our ecosystem from a Google pay-per-click ad 2,577 days ago.
April 30th of 18.
Yeah,
yes.
Of 18. And I believe it was 9 different agents made one attempt at making a phone call or a text. But you were the only one that stayed engaged.
Yeah, and
you just didn't give up.
I didn't, but I'm not sure why on this couple. But it was... So yeah, just kept calling and calling. And then finally, about 8 months ago, I got an email response back that said, hey, we're going to be putting our house on the market in the next little while. And I didn't know what next little while meant yet, and we're going to be moving down to the area. This is where we would like to move. And so they gave me some options. And so we just started sending a more tailored search. And then they would send back, hey, we like this house. And of course, about a week or so after they would like a house, it would go pending and then go under contract and then would be sold. But they came down one time, saw some houses, came down another time, and I wasn't available, and just kind of saw the area. And then this past probably a week and a half ago, I met them first, finally face-to-face in person, went and showed them 3 houses. They liked one of them, wrote an offer, and then we're under contract, and we'll close in about 4 weeks. So
what do you think, without getting too personal, because we don't want to share that with other people's lives, what was the event in their life that made them move, that finally make a decision? Because they entered our world. Yeah. They've been getting my Monday morning coffee. They've been getting all of our drips, e-alerts. And then recently, I assume Real Scout has kicked in, and it started nurturing them. So based on it, and kind of serves them up what they're looking for and keeps refining that criteria.
Right.
So what life event, or was there one that they're like, okay, we're doing this now, finally?
Probably 2 things. One was a family member had moved down here 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And so they got introduced to the area.
Okay.
And the second thing is the husband retired.
Okay.
So he retired. She didn't have to work, but worked and is still working. And then they're going to move down here, and I believe their plan is for retirement. And so that was the life event. It was, and you sometimes have these conversations where it's like, well, we plan on retiring in 5 years. And so I think at that point, now that I've gone through this experience, it's put more value into that.
Right.
5 years, but 5 years could turn to 3 years very quickly. But stay in contact, like slow drip them, just phone calls, emails. Don't be a nuisance, but stay in touch. And
Stay top of mind.
And once they engage, then, I mean, I sent a note card a year and a half ago.
Right. I bet you they kept the business card.
I sure hope so.
They
knew what I looked like when I got
because nobody sends that anymore.
Right.
You know,
right.
in our world.
Yeah.
And when you have people that are my age, I'm 50s, almost 60,
Yeah.
and I keep business cards.
Yeah.
And of course, that's who has money and who can buy, and they're not as affected by mortgage rates.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. And they're paying, and they sold their house. Their house closes in New York. They're going to pay cash down here, and so it was a little bit clean of a transaction, or hopefully it will be. And then, but it was the continued, just like you said, stay top of mind, but consistent contact with them. I think that
Relentless, because really you had no indicators along the way that anything you was doing was working.
statistics probably say I should have
Quit.
spent my time doing something else.
They should have ended up in some pond somewhere.
Yeah. Or, and it's also interesting because they could have very easily, they were looking on Zillow and Realtor, and they could have clicked on anything, but my contact with them kept
Right.
them, and then they were in our system, and they were getting our stuff.
And you were top of mind.
Yeah.
That guy,
Very.
whether it's good or bad, that guy keeps calling us. We have to follow up. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had car salesmen
Yeah.
that stayed in touch with me so much that I felt obligated to call them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because holy cow, they're doing their job.
Right.
I need to follow. I need to go to these guys. They've really worked.
I haven't even shared this with you. The first 2 times they came to visit, I wasn't able to. I was out of town one time, and I was already scheduled for something the second time. So 2 different agents actually showed them houses for me, and then I was finally able to meet them face to face as the third person, but I was organizing all of the showings.
Well, I think you do have a little bit of an unfair advantage coming from the mission field too, because you were trained to be relentless and to never give up.
Yeah, I mean that's part of it, and
Yeah.
but it's building relationships.
Yes.
I did that well with them, and so I think that allowed me to have the confidence to let somebody else show them face to face first
Right, and
before
trust.
I trusted the 2 people that I allowed to do that, and it was
So,
helpful.
does that inspire you to make those calls, those grueling calls when you just call and nobody answers, or you have no positive outcomes? I mean, does it make you think differently?
Yeah, you get these, little winks every once in a while that, hey, what you're doing, being consistent is the right way to do it.
Right.
And I think that's helpful, that you need some of those every once in a while to kind of give you a little B12 shot of, hey, make the calls today, be consistent, and then stay with, I think, having a consistent group of people that I call, I guess my own personal database, where I'm calling them once a month, even if they're not answering, doing that, and then also have them getting stuff from us.
And you're leaving
in our system.
messages.
Yes, leaving messages. Hey,
They're
this is
getting
Michael.
the email the alerts.
Right, and so it's all coming from myself or our team, and that way, when they think of Wilmington and they think of our area, they're immediately going to buddyblake.com. We're going to go look for this Michael Meshaw guy that we've never
But
met.
that doesn't work without the phone calls.
No, of course not.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
we want it to work without the phone
Right.
calls so badly. I mean, you know
Yeah.
as well as anybody, I have tried the auto texting, just
Yeah.
going crazy and relying on that. All those
Yeah.
are good tools.
Yes.
But they can be only tools that
Yeah.
it does not replace the personal
Right.
engagement.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff becomes white noise. They can easily unsubscribe, or they can easily.
And they're getting it from so many different
Yeah,
people.
right. And
Yeah.
so it just becomes, to me, the white noise email where I just delete it if I see it coming from. But then the phone call, and they see the number, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's." And then, "Oh yeah, we're going to be thinking about moving there." Oh, okay, yeah, let's give him a call.
Well, Michael, this won't be your biggest dollar sale, and it won't be your biggest commission check, but man, what a great story.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to, when you're done, you want to wait till you're done, share with them the story
Yeah.
of it, because, I bet you they'll have some feedback then.
I'm curious to see what they say. They've been very, very great to work with in person, and it was kind of funny because they just seemed to be very standoffish,
Right.
until it was time.
I would be that way.
Right. And yeah.
I would be that way until I'm ready. And I
Right.
think our industry, our instinct is, let's push them into our timeline in our box, and we need to remove that.
Yeah, that doesn't. Then they'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, they'll just push back. They can smell it, just like you walk in a store. Can I,
Yep.
can I help you?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody's asking the same thing, and so yeah. Well, man, I just wanted to thank you for sharing that story of perseverance, because it does work. And just imagine if you could just have 5 of those people a week that you put into the bucket.
Yeah.
And 5 of those people a week turns into 200, and say it turns into 100 people a year.
Right.
And you stack that in, and then you add in your past customers, and then you
Right.
add in, that's all it takes. So
Right.
a win isn't always a sale
No.
or a closing. A win can be just a really good conversation, or sometimes a win is a message you leave or a business card you sent, and you don't even realize it was a win.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
Yep. 100%.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. High five.
High five. Guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I just thought I would share this for any of the agents out there, anybody in sales. Obviously, these are not easy times like it was during COVID and things like that, but just understand that there is no replacement for conversations, welcomed conversations. I mean, certainly don't call people and they tell you, leave them alone. Don't do that. But most people don't get angry on the phone. You expect that you're going to get yelled at, but most of the time you won't. Most people, I believe, or I want to believe, are nice by nature. And if you're nice to them and just go from a position of servitude, without any timeline or without anything in return, it will work. That's how I've built my career. I've fallen into bad habits in different times in my life and my career life where it did become transactional, but certainly now that things are, back to a normal market, I would say, it's every person in front of you, and it's people. It's not leads, it's people.
Yeah.
Every one of those people has a family and a life and a situation going on. And, we need to come from a world of curiosity and how we can serve them. And serving them many times means never getting paid. Would you agree with that?
Yep. It's building those relationships and
Referrals.
yeah, that's kind of how I appreciate the relationships I get to build with. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope it's helpful in your business. I hope it encourages you to keep doing the work, keep making the calls, keep making the contacts, and no matter what context it is, whether it's sales, whether it's your family, people you haven't spoken to, whether it's your church, whether it's your school, keep engaged with people because people like it. Whether they want to admit it or they respond, you plant those seeds, and then when the time is right, they will reach out to you. If they see you as somebody that is non-threatening, nice, and kind, and helpful.